Oh shit.
What's going on? What's going on? How you doing, Nick Cruz? What's going on, bro? How are you? I'm just relaxing right now for today. I gotta fly out later. Which one? The G52 or the G100 Pro? There's not really any major updates on it right now. I've been kind of busy. And then I'm about to be gone for several days. What's going on, fellas? Sorry, I'm just relaxing this morning. Nothing crazy going on. I'm not even going out for a ride today. But cheers. Any advice on what I would need to add a 48 volt battery to my G100? Yeah. So you need this thing right here. You need one of these. So this right here is what you need to add another battery to your 48 volt bike. That is a dual battery discharger. I should have some videos up on how to do that. But that's the exact device that you need to add batteries. So number one, you purchase the battery that you need. Make sure that it comes with a rail and make sure that it's XT60, right? Purchase some adapters just in case. And then buy a dual battery discharger for your bike, and then you literally just slap everything together and screw it on and it works. It's like Legos. Sorry for the tame live stream. I'm mainly taking it easy and resting before I go work for a week. Like I'm about to be gone for a little bit. Oh, shit. Sorry. Uh, I have an older battery I used to use for a drop-in e-bike kit that I used to have, so I'm wanting to add it to my G100 Pro or G100. I guess it's really going to depend on the form factor that you have. Uh, I would need to see the battery, but basically, so I'm playing again. I'm playing games on my phone, on this phone right here. Um, it basically just depends on like the actual shape and size of the battery that you have, right? Um, I can't really show this frame because we're talking about a different frame, but like it's going to depend on shape and size of the battery and then where you can put it on the bike. So I think with the G100, you have with the G100 you have a battery on top and a battery just under that top battery. So you have that bottom space completely open to try and get a third battery in there. So that's your option. Otherwise, you might have to do the thing I did where you put it on the tail.
Anybody bought a soul? Yeah.
But yeah, no, sorry. I hope that made sense. Basically, with the whole getting a new battery thing, you need a dual battery discharger, and you want to make sure that it's at least like 40 amps. Okay, that's the major part because if you don't have the correct amperage, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to show you right quick. If you do not use enough amps in your device, they will burn through. Like they will melt through, and your wires will just literally dissolve or catch on fire or whatever, right? So, see, like the important thing that you need to make sure of when you're upgrading your electric bike is to make sure that you have enough amps in whatever you're using. So the cords, the connectors, the what the fuck am I talking about? The dual battery discharger, right? Because that dual battery discharger, it's just like a smart module that you take a battery or two and you plug it into that smart module, and then it decides how much power it's going to send to the controller, right? Or the controller is able to talk to it and allow it to pull from those batteries. But still, the point is the amperage of that device greatly affects things. It's like a bottom battery of a G100. Okay. About 48 volt, 13 amp hour battery or so. I mean, yeah, that'd be nice to add on to it. You know, it's not like the largest thing ever, but it'll get you some extra mileage for sure. Yeah, yeah. For something like that, adding on a third battery to your G100, definitely just grab like a 40 amp battery, dual battery discharger. Um, Plug it in to what you already got,
Like you don't even need to add anything else. Just plug it into what you already got, and then just find a way to screw that extra battery and rail onto that bottom basket of the G100, and you'll have it just fine. That'll be a 3 battery setup, easy, just like that. It says 4813.
Yeah.
I imagine that means 48 volt, 13 amp hour. Y'all like my Pokemon pajamas, huh? Yeah, ain't that fire? That just the drippiest drip in all of the land. Let's see, do you happen to know if there are any bigger gas tank batteries? So yes, they do make. Well, just to be clear, what's the amperage on your gas tank battery right now? What's the amp hour on it? Do you have like a 20 amp hour?
What's that top one? On mine, it's a 72 volt 18 amp hour for the top battery. And I do know of some places that sell gas tank batteries, but I don't know. They all max out around 25 amp hours. So that's what I would say. And that's just because, like, the size of the gas tank is like, let's just say the size of the gas tank is like this big. You can only fit so many, 21700 cells into that space. So, the best I've seen them get to is like I said, 25 amp hours for that top. Because if you got like a 40 amp hour gas tank battery, it's going to go from being this big to like, you know what I'm saying? It's going to double in size.
Here, let me see if I can find some for you right quick. So you might be able to use a lot of the time 48 volt systems can work with 52 volt systems, and that I believe is because the range of the charge for a 48 volt system lies between 42 and 54 volts. So a 52 volt system theoretically should be able to work with the motor and controller that you have, but again, it's like sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. What I'm looking at right here so this is what I'm looking at right here. This is like a 52, it's a 52 volt 28.8 amp hour e-bike battery for about 320 bucks. Now this is off AliExpress, which I got personally, I got burned really, really hard on AliExpress, so I'm not going to be buying from them again. You also need to make sure that they have the correct charge ports or the correct connection ports on their stuff, because I got a secondary battery for the G100 Pro, and it ended up having a different connection port, and I had to return it. Jeez, dude. Like, some of these places want to sell that gas tank battery for like $1,200, and then some places want to sell it for like $300. That's nuts. I mean, it looks like you can find 48 volt e-bike lithium ion batteries in the gas tank style on Amazon for $300, $400, $500. Yeah, just make sure it comes with the battery rail. Basically, right here, you just need to make sure it comes with that battery rail as well, because if you just get the battery, you know, if you just get the battery and the charger, you're shit out of luck. You know what I mean? Unless, hold on, actually, wait a second. Sorry, that's bad advice. No, the thing you need to make sure of, not even with making sure it comes with a rail, because you're only going to put one gas tank battery on your bike. You're never going to put two gas tank batteries anywhere on your bike. So that means that the two gas tank batteries that you have need to have the same style of connectors so that you can interchange them without having to unscrew that rail and undo the wiring every single time you want to change that battery out. So that means when you go look for a new 48 volt gas tank battery, the exact thing that you need to be looking for is to make sure that that connection port is the same exact style as what you already have. That is going to be your main concern. Because I just realized that if you get a different 48 volt gas tank battery and it has a different connector on it, you will not be able to use it. You will have to put that rail somewhere else on your bike, and it will either look really, really stupid, not fit at all, or you will have to put it in the same exact spot where your current gas tank battery is, and every time you want to change out that battery, you're going to need to be undoing those bolts and the wiring, you know, and swapping everything over. So that needs to be your main concern when you're looking for a new 48 volt gas tank style battery. Make sure it's the same connector style, whether it's 3-pin, 5-pin, 4-pin, whatever it is. So I'm trying to save you a lot of headache right now, because I went through something, or I went through what you could go through if you accidentally get the wrong style of battery. But it looks like you should be able to get what you need on there. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much for the like. I'm just trying to help out where I can. But yeah. Oh shit. Try a wild Charmander here. What's going on, Half Century? How you doing, my friend? Hope everybody's doing well. I wish you all a happy, peaceful, and fulfilling life. Yeah, but I hope you're doing well, Half Century. I'm just talking to Nick over here about putting an extra battery on his G100. I really, really, really hope that the upgraded motor eventually comes for this bike. Like, I so badly want just a little bit more power in this thing, and I'm worried that AliExpress is gonna scam me again because I've already purchased the battery, and it was a thing where it was like when I already purchased the motor, right? And it was a thing where like when I purchased the motor, I paid like an extra $130 for the shipping or whatever, and it was like for the fast shipping, blah blah blah. And then as soon as I ordered it, they were like, by the way, your order's gonna take like 50 or 60 days to get there, you know? And like, why did I pay for this? When I was trying to put my e-bike together, I thought of making my own gas tank e-bike battery using old motorcycle gas tank. There might be some. I feel like that would be a very, very large undertaking, because what you would have to cut open that gas tank, right, all the way down the middle perfectly, and then you would need to have the holders for each of the 21700 cells in there, right? So you need the holders in there, and then you would need to like properly fit that to make sure that it's shock resistant. And then you have to wire all of the cells together in some sort of efficient way. And then like you'd have to put it back together, but like, oh man, dude, that would be very interesting. I'm worried that it would be not safe in some way. I mean, I say that, but like they make batteries with like metal shells, I think, but that I don't know. That sounds wild. That sounds wild. Yeah, for sure, no doubt there'd be a lot of safety issues, but it was just a plan I was thinking of doing. Yeah, no, I mean, I think the creativity is really cool, though. I mean, and plus, I'm all for recycling and upcycling, you know? Like, it sounds stupid sometimes, but I just think it's cool. Like, if you can take something from your local environment that is not being used anymore and then give it new life somehow. Like a really quick example would be like pallet wood, you know, like if the pallets are now trash, but you break all that wood apart and now you have planks, and then you suddenly turn it into like for example, I made these planter stands, right, out of like some pallet wood and shit. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Sorry, I am just relaxing this morning. There's nothing crazy going on in this stream. I'm not going to be doing anything wild either. Ooh, have you been Yeah, so technically, all right. So think about. I'm gonna spitball with you for just a second on this, since we're two creative minds just kind of talking about what could be done, because I like talking about what technically could be done. Um, so if you wanted to, right, you wouldn't even need to go. Well, I guess if you're trying to keep the aesthetic of a gas tank, you could go that route. Um, and I mean, if you're losing the aesthetic of the gas tank, then I guess it's just like a big block up front where the gas tank would be. But it really just depends on what's going on, Jace. How you doing? I guess it really depends on like, yeah, how you can fit those e-cell holders into whatever compartment you have, right? Because I see them for sale online, where they're just like rows and racks of like it's I don't I'm trying to find the right vocabulary to describe it, but it's just like holders for all of the little for all of the cells that you would be using, and it's like a shock-proof, shock-resistant case, and you put the E cells in that, you wire those together, and then you put that in something else that you either put more of those together, or whatever, but you start adding more shock-resistant stuff around it. And then eventually you have whatever your case is. I think that is basically how they're kind of constructing these batteries. But with that being said, it does sound pretty easy to just make your own. Like, you can just order the cells individually. You can order the holsters for the cells. You can just, wire them together. Fairly simple, right? I guess the hardest part would be having wiring, like making a connector wire, right? Because you could have all your cells inside of a container, and then you still need to find a way to like have all the power go from that to a wire to your controller. And that, I don't know, that's something I don't understand yet. I'm not into electronics like that. Anyway, hope you're doing well, Jace Leon. I am, yeah, nothing crazy today. In fact, I'll probably end up stopping the live stream soon. Just because I'm gonna be going to the airport here in a couple hours. My other leg, man, where I scraped along the sidewalk and lost my skin on that ankle. And hey, dude, it hurts. But I guess I'll live with that for the rest of my life. Yeah, everything would be basically custom at that point. Aeroseed. Alright, I might go on a walk, honestly. Anyway, cheers. Thank you guys very much for sticking around, and I wish you all a happy, peaceful, and fulfilling life, my friends.